Love is one of the most powerful things we can experience, right? But a lot of us really struggle to show it in a way that actually connects with our partners, our families, our friends. We kind of just assume that how we show love is how everyone gets it. But the truth is, what feels like love to you might mean almost nothing to someone else. Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, gives us this amazing way to understand these differences. It helps us build deeper, way more meaningful relationships just by learning to speak the right emotional language.
So Chapman's big idea is pretty simple, actually. We each have a main way that we like to give and receive love. In this explainer, we're going to start with why these languages are so important and talk about this idea of the emotional love tank. Then we'll dive right into each of the 5, words and time, then gifts and service, and we'll finish that list with physical touch. We'll wrap it all up by looking at how love is really a choice we make every day in all our relationships and how understanding all of this can seriously change everything.
Okay, so first up, let's get into why this whole framework is so powerful. It's because at the end of the day, understanding how we connect with each other is the absolute foundation of any strong relationship. And a huge part of that connection, according to Chapman, is all about keeping our partner's emotional love tank full.
Chapman gives us this great metaphor of an emotional love tank. Just think about it. When our tanks are full, we feel secure, we feel valued, and we feel appreciated. But what happens when that tank starts to run empty? Maybe because of neglect, or miscommunication, or just unmet needs. Well, that's when relationships really start to struggle, even if both people still love each other.
This whole love tank idea is so important because it helps us see the real reason behind so many fights and conflicts. It's usually not because there's a lack of love, but because partners just aren't expressing that love in a way the other person can actually understand. It's like you're speaking 2 different languages. You're both trying to say I love you, but if the message doesn't get through, it's not going to fill that tank.
So Chapman's 5 love languages give us a clear path to fix this communication gap. Once you figure out and then actually start practicing each other's primary language, that's when things start to click. Relationships just flourish because both partners finally feel seen and emotionally fulfilled in the way that truly, deeply matters to them.
You see, each of these love languages taps into different but equally important emotional needs. Some of us really need to hear those heartfelt words, while others need your time or thoughtful gestures or physical closeness to feel loved. Getting a handle on these differences? Well, that's the secret to building more intentional and really meaningful relationships.
First up, we have words of affirmation. For people whose main love language is this one, spoken words are, well, everything. Verbal expressions of love, encouragement, appreciation. The right words can totally lift them up, make them feel secure, and build a really powerful emotional bond.
So how do you speak this language? It can be as simple as giving a real, genuine compliment like, "Wow, I really appreciate how hard you've been working lately." Or offering encouragement right when they need it most with a simple, "I believe in you." You can also just express gratitude. "Thank you so much for always being there for me." Or even just send a quick loving text or a handwritten note. All of that goes straight to filling their emotional tank. Now, you gotta remember the flip side, because it's just as important. For someone who lives on words of affirmation, things like criticism, harsh words, or even just not getting any verbal appreciation, it's not just hurtful. It can be deeply, deeply wounding. In this crazy, fast-paced, super distracted world we live in, giving someone your undivided attention is a pretty rare and precious thing. And for people whose love language is quality time, that undivided attention is the absolute best way you can show love and commitment. People with this love language, they crave real, meaningful interactions. You can express this with some simple but really powerful actions. Having conversations where the phones are put away, planning quality activities together. It could be a walk, it could be a deep talk. The key here is to show up consistently. And when you're with them, actually listen, no distractions. That kind of active listening is what really builds closeness. And for someone whose tank is filled this way, being physically in the same room but emotionally miles away, that can feel absolutely devastating. If you're multitasking while they're trying to talk or you're always canceling plans, it sends a really clear message that they're not a priority, even if that's not what you mean to say.
Okay, let's move on to 2 languages that are all about thoughtfulness, but expressed through tangible things and supportive actions.
Now, some people might hear receiving gifts and think it sounds materialistic, but Chapman makes a really important point here. For certain people, gifts are these powerful symbols of thoughtfulness and emotional connection. Seriously, it is not about the price tag. It's about the effort, the meaning, and that simple reminder that says, "Hey, I was thinking of you."
So how can you do this? Little surprise gifts that show you're paying attention. Remembering special occasions like birthdays and anniversaries, that's a huge one. It could be a small, meaningful token, like a souvenir you picked up just for them, or a symbolic gift that reminds them of a shared memory. Forgetting these moments can feel like a genuine lack of love to them.
For our next group, that old saying is absolutely true. Actions really do speak louder than words. Acts of service is all about showing love through thoughtful effort, helping out with responsibilities, easing someone's burdens, or just doing things that make your partner's life a little bit easier.
You can show this by helping with chores around the house, offering support when they're stressed, or running errands without even being asked. The real key is showing initiative and trying to anticipate what they need. For people with this love language, a heartfelt "I love you" can feel kind of empty if it isn't followed up with actions that back it up.
And this brings us to our fifth and final language. This one is probably one of the most direct and primal ways we communicate that we care and want to be close to someone.
So, physical touch is a deeply emotional love language that is all about nonverbal gestures. People who connect with this language feel most loved through physical connection. Holding hands, hugs, kisses, and even those simple, reassuring touches on the arm or back.
To express this, you can hold hands, cuddle, and just offer affectionate gestures. Give hugs or a reassuring touch during emotional moments. Simply being physically present, those small touches create a deep sense of emotional security. And, this is really important, always respect their comfort levels, because physical touch has to feel warm and welcome. For people who cherish this connection, feeling emotionally distant is so much worse when that physical affection is also gone.
Now, what's so brilliant about this whole idea is that it's not just for romantic partners, not at all. It applies to friendships, family, even our work lives. Just think about it. A kid who craves quality time might feel unloved if their parent is always busy, while another kid who needs words of affirmation really needs to hear that verbal encouragement to feel valued.
And in the workplace, this can be a total game changer. Recognizing a colleague's appreciation language can create so much better collaboration. Someone who values acts of service will feel so appreciated when a teammate pitches in on a tough project. But another colleague who responds to words of affirmation, they'll be way more motivated by some public praise. Ultimately, Chapman's main message is this: love is an intentional action. It's a choice. It takes effort, it takes understanding, and it takes a real willingness to step outside your own comfort zone to communicate in a way that meets the emotional needs of the people you care about. And when we do that, we create deeper, stronger connections in every single part of our lives.
So, the crucial point is this: love isn't just a feeling that happens to us. It's a language that we can actually choose to learn. By choosing to speak the right love language, we build relationships that are truly built to last. The only question left is, are you speaking a language that your loved ones can understand?